Greetings. I'm Mr. Grimreaper 2 with the one and only Dark Knight 97. And this evening, me and Knight are going to go back to 2001 as promised. Last week was the anniversary of one of the most notorious storylines in wrestling history.
Yep.
July 22nd, 2001 would be a day which would live in infamy in the history of professional wrestling.
Yes.
And it all began with one situation. And we'll talk about that here later.
Yes.
This is our review. And this is our review of the 2001 pay-per-view and what it should have been called to begin with. This is our review of WWF InVasion in your house. Enjoy. What's going on, you guys? What's going on, you guys? I'm as always Mr. Grimreaper 2 with the one and only Dark Knight 97, and welcome back to another edition of Inside the Ring. And today we're going to be talking about the 2001 pay-per-view entitled InVasion, and I made it very clear. It should have been called InVasion in Your House. That's what it should have been fucking called, but oh well. I ended up making a logo of it. This is the logo that you see on the screen. Is the one that I made.
Yeah, that's his hard work paid off with now. That's actually a good logo. So.
Yeah. So, this pay-per-view, just 1 week ago, last week actually, to be honest, back on last Thursday, was the anniversary of WWF InVasion.
Yes.
We should have talked about that, but okay.
It's okay. We lost track of our schedule. We had I had things going on, and so did he. So
yeah.
We apologize for that.
But it's okay. You know, it's okay.
Yeah.
So we are going to talk about it right now, due to what happened last, and we're going to talk about how this whole thing started. Now,
yes.
There's some things, we're going to go through the matches each by each. There's 11 matches.
Yes.
In total. And we're going to talk about each match. Yeah, we're going to talk about each match and stuff, and what we thought. And also, we're going to give you a little backstory of what happened. How this whole thing got started. There was an episode of Monday Night Raw, which occurred, if I remember correctly, which occurred back on March the 23rd, 2001. This whole thing between WCW and ECW and WWF, it just didn't start in 2001. This whole invasion shit has been happening a lot longer than that.
Ah.
The stepping stones of the whole invasion saga began back in February of 1997. The very first time a company walked into the WWF and invaded the WWF. My birthday, to be exact, February 24th, 1997, an episode of Monday Night Raw, when ECW brought their brand of extreme. They brought their own brand of extreme to WWF at the time. And it was unheard of, to say the least, of how this whole thing started. Moving forward back a little bit to 1994, when WCW and WWF were fighting head to head, when WCW Nitro made its debut, and they were fighting head to head. They were fighting head to head with Monday Night Raw, with Raw's War, or what it would later become Raw's War.
Yes.
And how the whole thing got started was in 2001.
Yes.
When Shane McMahon, on an episode of Monday Nitro, the very same night. Oh, the last episode aired on March 26th.
Yeah.
So
Shot
it was the
West.
very it was shot on the same night. Vince was on Raw. Shane was on Nitro.
Nitro. Shocked the world by showing up on Nitro. I gotta tell you, I remember watching. I was going back and forth between those two that night, and so when Vince said he was going to have Ted Turner himself come down to Isle of WrestleMania and give him a contract to sign over him, over to him, I was saying, well, that's going to be great. But then when Shane showed up on Nitro, I was like, what the? You know what I mean?
Yeah,
I was shocked because I watched this and Shane showed up. I'm thinking, what the hell is Shane doing on Nitro? What is this about? You know what I mean? And then when he said those words, oh my God, he said, that's right. I now own WCW. But before that, he said, the name of the contract is Shane McMahon. However, it reads Shane McMahon. And then he said, I now own WCW. When I heard the word, I was like, oh my God. And this began one of the most insane storylines ever when WWF beat with WCW. But later on, the ECW would get on the mix. We're going to talk about that later on.
Yeah, we'll talk about that. But first things first, it was WCW that started the war between.
That started with WCW, yes.
This shit started with WCW.
Yes.
Jumping ahead to June 2001, Booker T made his debut in WWF at the King of the Ring. When he got involved, and we will talk about the 2001 King of the Ring down the line. He got involved in the WWF Championship match between Stone Cold Steve Austin. If I remember correctly, I think it was Chris Jericho and Chris Benoit. And they were they went against each other. Yeah, is that right?
That's right. Yeah, I have it right here. Yeah.
Yeah.
That's when Steve Austin defended against Jericho, Benoit, and put their match for the World Championship. Yeah.
Yeah. So Austin. If you remember what happened with Austin in 2001, Austin was part of a tandem with Triple H called the two-man power trip,
Yes.
which started at the very same broadcast at the very same WrestleMania, where it was WCW versus WWF. It was Shane against his dad in a street fight, and we'll talk about WrestleMania 17 very soon too. And then what happened is that Booker T interfered in the WWF title match between Austin, Benoit, and Jericho. That was the first shot against WWF in the InVasion angle.
Yeah, and he followed afterwards on Raw. Like when you watching Raw, you would see the WCW logo flash on the Titantron.
Yeah.
Someone would come out like Hugh Morris one time showed up, Lance Storm showed up. During the hardcore match, Square Garden, Mike Awesome showed up and attacked Rhino and stole the hardcore title. So many more invaders would follow, and it would just keep building and building and building and building after that.
Which we come to a month later.
Yes.
We come to a month later. This was July of 2001. And it would be an episode of Monday Night Raw where Paul Heyman gets up from the announce booth and declared that ECW was going to enjoy... well, how it started was there was a matchup on that episode of Monday Night Raw.
Yes, it was.
If I remember correctly, Taz came down. There was some... the WWF version of ECW. Taz came down during the match. I'm trying to remember who the fuck else was it.
It's a lot of ECW alumni showed up. Van Dam showed up. Tom Neighbor showed up. But then, of course, at the time, we had Raven and Dudley Boys. Most of the Taz were in WWF at the time. Yeah.
Oh yeah. Okay. Let me see here.
Against Lance Storm and Austin.
Okay, Diamond Dallas. Oh yeah, it was July 9th. Chris Jericho and Kane faced off against Lance Storm and Mike Awesome.
Yeah.
The match ended in no contest, according to what I'm seeing here. It was the when ECW alumni from both the WWF and WCW.
They beating Van Dam and Tommy.
They made their way to the ring.
Yeah, see, now that was number one match. It looked like the WWF Force were going to stand strong against the ECW guys, but then they turn around and look at Jericho and Kane, and you're thinking, what the hell?
Yeah.
Oh,
and
my God.
This is what led up to Paul Heyman declaring war on both WCW and and WWF.
Yep.
Until we come to realize later on, that both ECW and WCW merged into one. They call it the Deadly Alliance.
Well, the Alliance.
Well,
yeah,
the Alliance. Well, I call it the Deadly Alliance. Fuck what WWE says.
Yeah.
And
yes.
And we come to find out that Stephanie McMahon is now the owner of ECW. This fucking shit pissed me off to no end.
When that happened, oh my God, that Stephanie McMahon aligned with her brother Shane, that she was billed as the owner of ECW, and thus adding the Deadly Alliance, the owner says, to go to war with the WWF. And I gotta tell you, that also pissed me off, but it also shocked the element because now we were dealing with a situation where what was the WWF going to do?
Yeah.
But they were going to do it on SmackDown, and if you remember this, Linda McMahon tried to get Vince saying, "Hey, you got to fight this.
Yeah.
Let's take it. Let's take this the invasion. Let's start the invasion, if you will. Let's do this. Let's have a pay-per-view. We'll call it Invasion." Well,
yeah, which they hold on, man. Originally, they were supposed to do in July 2001. They were supposed to do Fully Loaded.
That was the original plan. Yes.
But because this happened, all hell broke loose in WWF and WWF. When ECW and WCW joined forces against a common enemy, which is Vincent Kennedy McFuckface. And during the time all this is going on, Steve Austin, Stone Cold Steve Austin, WWF champion at the time, was running roughshod through WWF. With him and Triple H. Triple H
oh my God.
Triple H unfortunately was not involved in the invasion angle because he got hurt.
Yeah, he was injured at the time. I think that he tore his knee, his quad, whatever that was. And
yeah, he tore his quadricep. I think that was May of 2001. I think, right?
I believe so. I remember it was a tag match from Raw. He hit Jericho behind, and he fell in a weird way, and you can tell his knee was Yeah.
And he didn't come back until a year later, I think.
Yes, it was 2002. I remember that because I remember the recipe. Even the robbery with Jericho as HB champion. Stephanie was the Jericho. We'll talk about that as well later.
Yeah. So what happens later on is that there is an episode of Monday Night Raw,
Yes.
a July 16th episode. Austin was in a bar. Well, before then, Vince said he wanted the old Stone Cold Steve Austin.
The Hellraiser, the ass kicker, you need.
The beer drinker, the fucking finger gesturing son of a bitch that he was.
Yes.
Before the whole thing that happened at WrestleMania 17. So what happens is that Vince, when later that night, all hell breaks loose.
Oh my God!
The fucking alliance against WWF, all hell was breaking loose. Austin fucking shows up. It is the loudest fucking pop I have ever heard on a Monday Night Raw.
Oh my God, dude! Oh my God! I remember watching that. Someone first shows up. He drives up in his truck, beats the crap out of people in the backstage area for outside and then backstage. Makes way to the ring, and Jerry is going freaking out. He's talking, he's walking, it's in the show go.
Yeah.
You know, and, oh my God, it was
to put it lightly, Jim Ross was fucking fantastic as the commentator, because I remember that clearly. If I remember correctly, I think Michael Cole was with him on that Raw, right?
Yeah, I don't think the king had not come back yet. It was after the invasion ended. I remember that episode of Raw where Vince fires Heyman, and then he brings Lawler back. So yeah, Lawler was not there back yet.
Oh my God! That night on Raw, after what happened at Survivor Series, we'll get to Survivor Series 2001 because what happened the night afterwards, after that Monday Night Raw, I think, if I remember correctly, two things happened that night. After that Raw, after Survivor Series, Ric Flair came to WWF.
That's right, he came back. Remember, wasn't in '92. If you remember, paying that back, Flair did show up in WWF back then, and he would face Hogan, and he was, but he would come back. Yeah, he would show up because they were in Charlotte. Surprise, surprise.
Yeah,
that freaked me out. Go ahead.
And then the second thing that happened after a long absence. Jerry the King Lawler returns back to the WWF after the whole thing that happened with Stacey Carter. I think that's the Cat.
Cat. That was
his former wife, his ex-wife.
Yeah. So he left. Yeah, he wasn't happy with the way they did when they released her. So he left with her. Anyway, we'll talk about that.
Yeah. So, and the funniest shit that I have ever seen in my entire life is Jim Ross kicking Paul Heyman's ass. That was the funniest fucking shit I've ever seen. Oh my God. We'll talk about, we'll go more into it when we talk about Survivor Series 2001.
But, I was trying to take JR. Oh, man. Anyway. So the Old Stone Cold obviously comes back and beats the crap out of the Alliance members.
Yeah.
Until we get to the actual invasion event. Where things turn around and shockingly. We're going to talk about that.
We'll talk about that here in a little while.
Yes.
So the very first match. Before we actually got into the event itself, we go to Sunday Night Heat.
Our favorite Sunday night show.
I'm not happy with the fact that WWE decided to screw this fucking show when they brought it back.
But yeah, Sunday Night Heat was, I loved it. Me and my partner here loved it. Every Sunday night before we had to go to school the next day, we would watch this.
I love Sunday Night Heat. It was my favorite. It was my favorite.
Yes.
But before we got into the event, Chavo Guerrero took on Scotty 2 Hotty in the first and the only match for Sunday Night Heat, and Chavo unfortunately won the damn thing against Scotty.
That was a good match there.
And then we go into the next, and then we go into the event itself.
Into the review itself.
Edge and Christian, the WWF, I remember, Edge was walking in as the 2001 King of the Ring.
Yes, he had won the King of the Ring.
And Christian, there was this whole thing with Christian that happened. Christian, I think this was before Christian turned on him, right?
Yeah, yes. I remember that night on Raw when he turned. Oh my God, we'll talk about that too. But yeah, this is before he turned. This is like
and they
together in this game.
Yeah, and they took on the late Mike Awesome.
Yeah, that's the soul.
And Lance Storm.
Yes.
In a tag team match. Let's see here. Read this for y'all. The first match of the event was between Lance Storm and Mike Awesome against Edge and Christian. The match went back and forth until Awesome attempted a cheap shot at Edge from the apron. Edge avoided it, performed a dropkick, and sent Storm on top of him with a backbody drop. Christian then leaped off Edge over the top rope onto Storm and Awesome. As Christian was on the top turnbuckle, Awesome tripped Christian and attacked his backs outside. Back in the ring, Storm and Awesome dominated Christian after Storm threw Christian's gut into the ring post. Christian fought back with a crossbody, but Awesome tagged in. Performed a flapjack spinebuster. Storm and Awesome dominated Christian and until Christian performed a backbody drop to Awesome from the top rope. Edge and Storm tagged in. Edge performed an Edge-O-Matic to Storm. Storm performed a jawbreaker and attempted a double belly-to-back suplex with Awesome. Edge landed on his feet and Christian performed a flying clothesline to both Storm and Awesome. Edge performed a spear to Awesome. Storm attempted a super kick to Christian, but Edge shoved Christian and took the kick himself as Awesome held Edge in the crucifix. Christian performed a spear to Awesome. Edge landed on Awesome and pinned him. And WWF wins the first match.
That was the first one for WWF. That was a great match. You know, Edge and Christian were fast. They were there for the former tag champions. They were also the division of the TLC. You know, they were the quickest team. Of course, you had Lance Storm. Lance Storm was also another striker. You know, not Awesome. There was the soul. They tried, but they came up short. But that was a good way to start off. So WWF at the first point because of that match. But more matches to follow.
Yeah, so the second match, I'm not going to really go through, I'm not going to really talk, read this all that much. The second match was a referee versus referee match.
Yes.
It was Earl Hebner against Nick Patrick. Now, I want to talk about Nick Patrick for a second. This stupid asshole, he's an asshole, and there's a reason why I say he's an asshole.
Go ahead.
Back in the old days, back in '96, he was quick to jump from WCW to the NWO.
Yes, you can see it immediately. He screwed a lot of WCW wrestlers, and eventually he did alliance stuff with NWO, and oh my God, I hated him. I hated him so much.
Yeah, until later on, I guess. Things started looking up for Nick Patrick, but I knew he was a prick the first moment this match was even made when he decided to attack Earl Hebner. I think there was like an episode of Raw or SmackDown. I don't remember which.
One of those, I remember. Yeah, they got into it.
Yeah, the referees ended up getting involved in the InVasion thing.
Yep. Of course, everybody's favorite Hall of Famer, the three faces. Mick Foley was a referee in this one.
Yeah, this one, I liked this matchup because both of these dudes had their own history of bullshit. Earl Hebner was one of those people that you probably hated back in '97 because of what he's known for.
Yes, the moment that me and Grandma like either that happened in a certain place called Montreal.
Yeah, the Montreal Screwdriver. We'll talk about, and I think in the third episode for Inside the Ring, I think we'll talk about the '97 Survivor Series.
We'll do that next one. So we got for that.
The next time we do Inside the Ring again. So
yeah.
Okay, so Earl Hebner took on Nick Patrick in this matchup. Mick Foley was the guest referee. It was a toss and turn between these two dudes. Between Patrick and Hebner.
Yeah.
Patrick beat the hell out of him for a little while, and then Earl Earl came back. And then Patrick won the damn match because.
No.
Oh wait. He did. Wait a minute.
It says here. All right. So I want to start here for a second. It says here WCW referee stopped Hebner until Foley stopped them and ejected him from ringside. Back in the ring, Patrick complained to Foley, allowing Hebner to perform a flying shoulder block and pinned Patrick for the victory. After the match, Patrick argued with Foley. Foley punched him and applied his signature maneuver, the mandible claw.
Yeah. Okay, so that's what happened. Okay, I'm sorry, guys. It's kind of late right now.
It's so WWF 2, Alliance 0.
Yeah. So WWF won the second match. Okay, then the third match, the fourth match, according to it's supposed to be third anyway. I don't think the Chavo Guerrero Scotty 2 Hotty match.
No. That's a heat match.
Difference,
so
yeah.
We're counting it as pay-per-view match. So basically the next match is a tag team match with the APA, Bradshaw and Farouk, taking on Chuck Palumbo and the late Sean O'Haire.
Yeah. Farouk and Bradshaw. I remember watching this.
Yeah.
Farouk and Bradshaw beat the hell out of Palumbo and O'Haire.
Oh, they did, dude. That was the AP. Oh my gosh.
I don't remember much about O'Haire. All I know is that WWE screwed him in the end.
Yeah. He didn't bring him in. He did have a singles run. He did have Ivarez as his man for a little bit, but I wish they could have done more with Sean O'Haire.
Really, to be honest, I think WCW. I think he got the brunt of the bullshit.
Yeah.
When WCW ended.
Yeah, he did.
But that's just me,
Yeah.
So.
Yeah, it was a good tag match. It ended when Bradshaw and Palumbo after he knocked out Palumbo with the clothesline from hell, as JR had done that. I remember, dude, that move was devastating. You would close on the hell out of you. That's why JR said close on the hell, because it was that. Yeah.
I remember the first time he did it. I remember the first time Bradshaw, when he was known as Dustin Hawk Bradshaw.
Oh my God.
Or was it Dustin or was it Justin? I think it was Justin Hawk Bradshaw, right?
Justin Hawk Bradshaw. Yeah.
Okay. Yeah, I remember the first time he did it, and this was back on an episode of Raw back in '96.
Oh my gosh.
I forget who he faced, but I remember he fucking fucked up the dude that he faced in that damn matchup, and that was the first time I saw the clothesline from hell.
Oh yeah. So JR Dub did that, and that was the But that was a good tag match again. The APA, which is the Icon Agency now, they got together because of the Jackal, which is, or now you know him as Don Callis.
Yeah.
AEW. He put them together. I remember he would show up after each and every one of their matches. When Farouk was in the match or Bradshaw was in the match, he'd show up. He was talking to him, and the next thing you know, they come out to get the tag team. They call themselves the Acolytes. So
yeah.
Since then, they went into the protecting business with the cards and the money. Oh my God, the segments were funny. Yeah, they were playing cards, smoking cigars.
I remember the matches that they had with. I remember the matches Bradshaw and Farouk had with the New Age Outlaws. There was
Oh, it
one
was
in
really good.
particular. There was one in particular that they had. Um, if I remember correctly, they had a fight. There was a freaking bar fight that they had. I think it was an episode of either Raw or SmackDown. Um, and I think it was. I think it was gearing up. The whole thing with that was gearing up for. I think it was for the Royal Rumble for that year for 2000.
Yes.
The 2000 Royal Rumble.
Yes.
But I remember Ratcho and Farouk beat the hell out of the Outlaws.
It did.
And stuff like that. And okay, so that is 3 WWF
Zero alliance.
Zero Alliance until the 4th match.
Well, let's see here. What match here? It was the light heavyweight champion versus the cruiserweight champion. It was X-Pac and Kidman. It says here, Kidman didn't. Oh, that's right. You're right. Kidman didn't win, so that was the year.
Yeah. Things started looking up, apparently, for the Alliance.
That was their first one.
Kidman defeated X-Pac. Raven defeated William Regal.
Who was commissioner of the WWF at that time.
Yeah. Then we had a 6-man tag match in which the late Chris Kanyon, Hugh Morris, and Sean Stasiak, they defeated Albert, Big Show, and Billy Gunn.
That was 2 for them.
And then, but it came back in WWF's favor when Tajiri defeated Taz. And then it went back to the Alliance's favor when Rob Van Dam defeated Jeff Hardy. That was a good ass fucking match
Oh, 2 of the best
between
high
Hardy
flyers.
and Van Dam.
Right, that was 2 of the best high flyers in history, man. I mean, Jeff Hardy, who was a risk taker, he was doing it. So was Van Dam. That's them comes both risk takers. Because if you watch Van Dam's matches in ECW, you know he would do anything to win the match. Whether you get Van Dam there with a chair on your head, whether he would dive up a ladder, it doesn't matter. That's what Jeff Hardy and Van Dam had to come in the road risk takers. But so yeah, and then of course we had.
The bra and panties match.
Yeah,
And this was not the last time we would see Mick Foley neither. He would be referee for this match too.
That's right. You're right. Yep, he's there.
I'm sorry. I don't care what anybody says.
Good.
I had a crush on all 4 of these chicks.
Yeah, the ruin pal.
Trish Stratus and Lita, I loved. I thought Trish Stratus was
Yes.
especially the shit that happened that year between her and Vince. That storyline was just weird.
Because that was going into the match machine at WrestleMania 17 because
Yeah.
Melinda was in the state that she was just not herself.
Yeah,
And
she was
Shane
in a
pissed
vegetative
off. He
state.
came back. Yes. And Shane came back pissed off and beat the hell out of his dad. And then at WrestleMania, it imploded there. Anyway. But you know what that first, these were when you had the Divas. Back then, this is when they called them Divas, not superstars. And this is the matches that I like to see them have. They had these kind of matches, Ron Panties matches. Oh my gosh, yes. That was the shit back then, guys. I'm sorry.
Now see, nowadays people would say now that we have the Me Too bull crap and all this other bullshit, people would say people are gonna bring up PC crap and all this other bullshit, and say the WWF shouldn't have never done this match and blah 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 blah. Shut up.
Yeah.
The bra and panties matches in WWF were really fucking good, and I liked them. So they also had at one point a stupid ass team that I fucking hated, which Stevie Richards would freaking formed in WWF called the Right to Censor.
Oh, I hated that. I hated that with a passion. I remember the people with Joey Lawler that they had. I remember they tried to. They changed Godfather to Goodfather. They changed Val Venus from his ways. They added Ivory. That was the worst thing they ever did was Ivory. Oh my god.
Yeah, she looks like a fucking school teacher and shit like that.
Exactly. And I remember the feud they had with China and God rest her soul.
Yeah.
Oh my gosh.
Sadly, China wouldn't be involved in the freaking invasion angle. I don't know what. I don't even know what happened to China after this.
I don't know. I think she left already. I think she was not there anymore because she was there in 2000 for a while, and I think after that, I think she was gone. So because 2001 came around, she wasn't there anymore.
Yeah.
And they didn't use her as often as they did, but yeah, she wasn't a part of it either. But yeah, so traditionally it would have been that one, I believe here. Yep, that was enough point for the WWF. Now we come to our main event.
Yeah, we come to the main event that pissed me the fuck off, to say the least. The inaugural brawl. This was the 10-man inaugural brawl, in which the Alliance, which was WCW's Booker T, ECW's the Dudley Boys, WCW's Diamond Dallas Page, and ECW's Rhino, accompanied to the ring by Shane, Stephanie, and Paul, took on the WWF coalition, which was Jericho, Kane, Kurt Angle, Stone Cold Steve Austin, and The Undertaker. And Vince was the manager for WWF.
That's right.
The ending to this match was complete bullshit.
Oh, you got that right. That night, I was pulling for Team WWF. I was hoping they were going to win. So Austin's the referee, and say, okay, come on, Austin, throw the referee, come on, let's get this. I was hoping Austin was going to put the referee, tell him to count. When Austin grabbed Angle and gave him the damn Stone Cold Stunner, I'm like, what in the hell are you doing?
And Austin fucked over Austin bended over the WWF and fucked them right in the ass. And that still pisses me the fuck off. Because Austin decided, oh, I'm homesick. I'm gonna go back to where I started. Yeah. When Austin, you know damn good and well, Eric Bischoff fucked you.
Yeah,
Paul Heyman fucked you too.
Oh yeah.
Paul Heyman and Eric Bischoff both fucked Austin. WCW and ECW both fucked Austin when he started.
Oh yeah. Oh yeah. Oh yeah.
And that pissed me off to no ends that Austin turned his back. And here's the other fucking kicker. Here's the kicker that you didn't realize. Austin was the WWF champion at the time.
Isn't that crazy? So yeah, he went back to the company who screwed him over in the first place. Anyway. And then, of course, after this event, in the aftermath, a lot of things happened. They also, as you know, guys, on Raw, there was a Raw, where The Rock came back to the WWF. Both the Alliance and the WWF were trying their hard to get The Rock to go back. You know, Vince was trying to get Rock to stay in the WWF, but the Alliance wanted to get The Rock under their tutelage. And in the end, The Rock chose WWF, which was good. But I remember that. I was hoping The Rock wouldn't make that mistake.
Yeah, he rock bottomed both Vince and Shane. Told them both to go fuck off. But if I remember correctly, he said he came back home, which means he came back to the WWF.
Exactly right. Yeah, you remember that night, the Alliance and the Rock had Welcome Rock, they had all the Rock memorabilia, they were decorating the room with the Rock, WWF was doing the same thing, and
yeah.
Oh my God, it's crazy. But then, of course, after that, the Rock would feud with Booker T over the WCW title. Austin and Kurt would feud with Austin and Angle would feud. Oh, that was the funny thing about that. You remember Angle kidnapped Austin, and he pushed him into the water, but he pushed him into a little swimming pool.
Yeah. Oh my God. When was that? Was that an episode of SmackDown?
No, that was Raw's War. Because I think Austin had thrown Angle's medals into the water, I think, the week before. And Angle was pissed off, got retribution. He kidnapped Austin because they got Austin a new truck, and he was, the king of the world. And Angle came up behind him and attacked him and kidnapped him. And then he made Austin be like, "Who's crying?"
Yeah. Yeah, I want to talk about before we go any further with stuff. I want to talk about the missed opportunities WWF had.
Yeah.
Now I know Goldberg would come around 2003 or 2004.
2004.
Goldberg would come around to WWE.
Yeah.
The NWO would show up in fucking 1 year later at No Way Out.
Well, they showed up before. That was 2002.
Yeah, it was 2002. It was 1 year later.
Because I remember that. Because I remember it was like, I want to get the dose. I remember that. It was in the SmackDown, I think, or something. He was saying about, I'm going to get the dose of poison. He turned his chair around and it said the NWO. I was like, what?
Sting would come to WWF, would come to WWE.
At 2014.
Yeah, in 2014 at Survivor Series.
Yeah, he had nothing to do with that. But as you know, Sting was on the last episode of Nitro that night. But he didn't want nothing to do with WWF events at the time. So, yeah, he did not get involved in that storyline whatsoever.
Scott Steiner showed up in WWF in WWF in 2003, right?
Yes, at Survivor Series that year.
And then everybody else who was involved with that, who was involved in the original WCW, had nothing to do with the freaking angle.
No, not a lot of those versus had nothing to do with it.
And then ECW, you have some originals that were involved in that, but
not all of them.
Not all of them. The Baldies, Public Enemy, Balls Mahoney was involved in that.
He was?
The Bad Breed, Axel and Ian Rotten.
I don't know about. They didn't.
Yeah, they weren't involved in it. That's what I was talking about. They were involved in later on when WWE brought back ECW for One Night Stand. We'll talk about One Night Stand.
You're right. But yeah, not a lot of a lot of hip wrestlers you would see on Nitro normally were not involved with that angle. You just saw like people like Mike Awesome and Hugh Morris, Lance Storm.
Masato Tanaka is another one.
Well, One Night Stand, yeah.
Yeah, Masato Tanaka would later come to One Night Stand, but it was a missed opportunity to get Masato Tanaka to come in to get involved in the invasion angle.
Yeah, see, there was a lot of missing wrestlers at the time. Yeah, you didn't see Scott Steiner part of that. You didn't see Goldberg. You didn't see Sting. You didn't see Luger. You didn't see Savage. You didn't see. Then you didn't even see Hogan nobody from the NWO.
Nash, Hall, fucking Scott Norton.
Nobody from the NWO. Not Vincent. Not anybody. Bagwell. Well, Bagwell would come down.
Bagwell was one of them that showed up, and another story that gets me is that Bagwell blames Jim Ross for what happened in 2001. I don't believe that. I don't think Jim Ross had nothing to do with what happened in 2001 with Bagwell.
No, of course not, dude.
This was not JR's fault. What happened to Bagwell in 2001 was not JR's fault. It's Vince's fucking fault.
Yeah.
It's Vince's fault. When Vince bought WCW and ECW, he decided to screw over anybody that he fucking could. That's what happened.
Yeah.
That's what happened. It wasn't Jim Ross's fault that what happened to Bagwell. And that was the night Bagwell Buff Bagwell took on, I think, Booker T.
Yes.
For the WCW World title on
he was on a Raw. But they let WCW have a little time slot or something. I remember they had everything WCW style. They had Scott Hudson and Lawrence and some commentators at ringside.
I wish it was Tony Schiavone. I wish it was Mike Tenay. I wish Bobby Heenan would come back and would come back and get involved in the invasion. But it was so many missed opportunities in the invasion angle, and how it ended. I was so happy for it to end, really, to be honest.
Yeah, me too. I remember Bobby Heenan showing up. I remember WrestleMania 17, the gimmick battle royal hell was Let's Come Back, which is real cool.
Yeah.
He was the commentator. Him and the late Mean Gene Oakland got wrestled to soul.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Even Mean Gene. Mean Gene would have been. If you would have gotten the original people from WCW, and also there was players missing in WWF as well too. Don't forget about that.
Yeah.
Triple H was fucking missing in action.
He was injured.
because he was injured. And you could have gotten Jake Roberts could have come back.
We got some legends at least.
Yeah, like Jake. Like Jake Roberts was could have been involved in that.
You didn't see Kurt Hennig, Mr. Murphy, until later. He would come back at the 2002 Royal Rumble. I think he showed up.
And Kurt Hennig worked for WWF and WCW.
Both. So, yeah. So
shit, Stevie Ray of all people, Ahmed Johnson, Vader. Just to name a few of the legends that could have been involved in this fucking angle.
That would have been great, because, you know, this should have been taken to an all-time high. With all of, if these legends came back and got involved with this, that would have been an all-time high. With that.
That's like dream matches galore, like a motherfucker.
Oh, you know it. You know that. So there's a lot of people who didn't see during this invasion angle, but in the end, though, like we said before, Alliance did win, but in the end, the Lions actually lose and not be around anymore after Survivor Series, which we'll talk about in another episode.
Yeah.
But yeah, I remember that night. I can remember just the next day when I went to school. I remember being mad all day about it, and when I was watching Raw and just seeing them celebrate.
When did we start talking? We didn't start talking to each other until September, right?
I believe so. Because I was the first day of school was in August, and I think a month after we started.
Yeah, how we met was in 2000. We met in September 2001.
Yeah.
We knew each other after the 9/11. I think after the 9/11 attacks that happened.
That happened, yeah.
Me and him met each other like maybe a week before 9/11.
Yeah, we were friends when that happened. I remember we already met before then, so.
I think I think it was in September we met.
Yeah, we met in September.
And then me and him met. We had a couple of other friends that we met.
Yeah.
And a former asshole that we knew too. That I knew since then as well, since 2001. We don't ever talk about that asshole.
Yeah. But I remember being pissed the next day after that happened, and I was like...
Yeah, I was pissed too. I wish we knew each other during the whole fucking thing. The whole fucking invasion angle. Because I would have loved to have talked to you about this bullshit when we were in school.
Oh, yeah, that would have been a topic if you hadn't talked about it.
But what would you give Invasion in your house?
Well, you know, of course, the Shockers with Stone Cold turning on the WWF and all that. But I don't know, I like the name of it because that's what was going on at the time was Invasion.
Yeah.
And it could have been in your house attached to it, which would be cool. But I guess I would have to give this maybe 9 out of 10.
Yeah, I think a 9 would, for you a 9 would be great. Me, I'm going to bring it down to an 8.
Okay, well we'll have to get one.
Because I'll tell you why. I'll give you a good reason why of why I give it 8. The missed opportunities, that's one.
Yeah.
To have legends involved in all 3 companies. You talk about legends. You talk about legends from the past of WWF, WCW, and ECW. There's a who's who of motherfuckers that should have been involved in the invasion in 2001.
We had all the NWO. We should have had Scott Steiner. With WCW, we should have had Sabu. We should have had Sandman. Was not even a part of that back then. Not until the one that standstill. But
yeah.
We should have had, you know, everybody. I mean, that's the whole point.
And then also to top it all off, the problem I had with Invasion 2001 was that was the ending. Was how that the whole thing with Austin, and even Austin can go on record as saying this was one of the worst fucking worst storylines that he has ever fucking been a part of. He goes, even him can tell you. Raven has said it himself in a podcast that he hated the invasion angle. Many of the people that were involved in the invasion, even Page himself, Diamond Dallas Page, said himself, "Hey, I hated being involved in that shit."
I remember Raven debuting before that happened. He
debuted 1 year before, and I think it was at. If I remember correctly, was it Judgment Day or Unforgiven?
No, it was Unforgiven. It was.
Because of the six-pack challenge, I think.
King and Taz, because you remember Taz was acting like an asshole with JR, and I hated Taz for that.
Yeah, Taz was acting like a prick.
So JR, so Lawler was taking on Taz in the strap match, and the referee had been knocked down inadvertently. And Raven, surprised, out of another time, was Raven came out of nowhere.
Yeah.
DDT Lawler. So anyway, Raven was already, So.
I don't think he got a good pop though when he debuted in WWF.
People were like, I heard I see people doing the Raven tongue in the crowd. Yeah, it wasn't that big, but it was kind of,
Fucking Taz got a big fucking pop at the Royal Rumble in 2000 when he debuted.
He was the Mystery Point Record Angle. I remember first started,
Yeah. But we'll talk about that later on. We'll talk about that down the line.
But yeah, so Graham gives it an 8 out of 10. I say 9 out of 10. Well, we'll see where we're at.
Yeah,
well, different.
Yeah. Because I just had a problem with the invasion angle, to be honest.
Of course. Yeah.
There was a lot of missed opportunities. Who's who of missed opportunities.
Yeah, could have been part of it. Yeah, I get that.
Yeah, so, but, yeah, it's running long. This is probably going to take a while. This video is probably going to take a while for me to edit.
What do you guys think out there? Leave us a comment down below. Let us know what you thought about Invasion. If you have a member of this Invasion pay-per-view. And if you would like to maybe watch it, go on Peacock, I guess. Find it. I'm sure it's there.
Yeah.
And watch it yourself.
It'll probably be edited. Some things will probably be edited out because, Peacock and WWE are PG now.
Yeah. But if you want to find the original one, just look it up online. Go to Google, type in Invasion, maybe you'll find it. And let us know what you guys think.
Yeah, well, let me know in the comment section down below what you guys thought about Invasion. The next time we talk about a WWF pay-per-view event, well, actually, let's switch gears. We're gonna switch gears. We're gonna talk about a WC. We're gonna instead of WWF, we've already talked about WWF two weeks in a row. Let's go back. Let's go back all the way. Let's go back to WCW's past.
Sure.
The 1998 Fall Brawl War Games, to be exact.
Thanks.
And yeah, so the next time we talk about a pay-per-view on Inside the Ring, WCW Fall Brawl War Games 1998. That is going to be it for me. I'm, as always, Mr. Grimreaper 2 with the one and only Dark 997. And we'll see you all in the afterlife. Peace.